Episode of Perpetually Ajar. I am your hostess, Katy Johnson, aka Weiss, Penny Pelladonuts, Cinderfall, and Velvet the Chocolate Rabbit. I need to come up with something funny for Cinder. We'll work on that. Comment below. And we also have our beautiful host with us. Please introduce yourself.
What is up, guys? I am Beau. I voice Winter and Ilya for KRWBY Productions, and I'm also the new head of the VR short department alongside who I'm really excited to have on the podcast today.
Wait, is there another person again? Did they sneak onto the podcast?
Did you not get the memo?
Oh my God. Okay. This is the second time this has happened. People keep sneaking onto our podcast. All these amazing special guests with their beautiful talents and wondrous abilities need to stop hacking us. Please introduce yourself, mystery person.
Hey, it's Kermit the Frog here. How's it going?
Oh my God, Kermit! Oh! I'm such a
fan! Hey, it's Steve from KRWBY. Duh.
Wow.
Wow, that's a big dumb
lied
moment.
To me? Oh my God.
Yeah, gotcha. Got him.
I feel so betrayed. Well, Steve from KRWBY, if that is your real name.
Is your real name.
If that's who you really are, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everyone what you do here at KRWBY.
Yeah, I'm Steve, otherwise known as Steven Number 1 or Granny Salem. I am the lead video editor for our projects, and I am one of the co-directors for the VR shorts.
Whoa, that's wild. That is insane. Actually, yeah, this guy is really cool. He helps us keep a lot of stuff on track. Oh my God, stop.
No.
And he
no,
also...
you're breathtaking.
No, you're breathtaking.
No, you're breathtaking.
Everyone's
you
breathtaking.
both have stolen my breath. I'm barely breathing right now. It's really awesome to have you on, though, with us, Steve. And we're going to do some exciting stuff today. But before we do that, I would just like to know, how are you? How are you guys? Like, what is up, my dudes?
Man, my entire life has been completely and utterly consumed by Borderlands 3. So I've barely come up for air in the last, looks at fake watch,
I've been
7
since
days.
1984.
It's been 84 years.
It's been 84
Back in my day. Oh my God, we just need to start a granny podcast.
It's Granny's Knitting Circle.
Yes, I love it.
I've recently taken up doing an impression of Tina's Maria impression, so that's been fun.
Oh God.
An impression of
Well, back in my day, we simply sucked a lot of lollipops.
Yes,
that's what we did.
I'm sure they were lollipops. I'm pretty sure that's the right quote.
That's what they were. I don't lie. These hips do not lie.
Shakira.
What have you been up to,
Shakira
Steven?
Maria.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that.
Oh my God.
So Borderlands,
some caps.
I have been obsessed with Stardew Valley again recently because
That's
they
a fair
added in these
one.
hidden quests and these secret notes and stuff, and it's been amazing to just jump back in because I already have way too many ungodly hours into that game. So I'm just like, well, actually it's been really nice because it's something that I can do without having to think too much. Like, I kind of have routines in it, but I like to mix it up for money. And I listen to Critical Role while I'm playing. So it gives me double things to do. I love to play kind of fun, simple games while listening to D&D. So it gives my attention span something else to do while I'm also imagining all of this beautiful stuff. And Steven, what have you been up to?
Well, actually, yesterday marks a week since I moved into my new room. I moved into one room at college. Was there for 3 weeks. I couldn't sleep at night because of a beer garden next to it. Very loud at night. And on weekends it was open till 1:30 a.m. And so I moved to finally an on-campus dorm for once in over a year, and I love it. And my roommate's really awesome. He's chill. He's on the hockey team. I've already made a lot of friends, and I've talked to him. I learned more about him in 5 minutes than I did about my other roommate in 3 weeks because he just never talked to me.
Oh.
I don't know. I think he's just socially awkward, but he was at least
For
nice.
sure. Fair.
He's at least nice.
Yeah.
But that and Borderlands 3, I've been playing that not nearly as much as I wish.
Both of you.
Yeah, not nearly as much as I wish. I've only played it 2 sessions, which was yesterday and Friday, I think, or Thursday, because I just haven't had time. But I'm hoping I'll play some tomorrow morning
I
for
love
classes.
that game so much.
That's
It's
so
so
freaking
fucking
cool.
good. Who's your favorite character,
Beau,
Beau?
and
Out
both of you. What are
curiosity.
your favorite characters? Are you gonna do any cosplays?
God,
or...
that is such a more complicated question than I feel like I
Judging-
have time for.
Judging by your profile picture, I think you lean towards what's her
Tyrene
name?
Calypso?
Tyrene, thank you. Yeah.
She's definitely my favorite villain.
She's a very good villain.
She is.
I love how she's written.
She is, because unlike Handsome Jack, where Handsome Jack was just genuinely crazy,
She has some valid points.
she actually has like really valid arguments and is actually at the head of things because of how powerful she is.
And
So-
she thinks things through.
But I would say
Doesn't
I would
name
say
horse butts
overall
down.
my all-time favorite Borderlands character just in general is Athena the Gladiator. She's my fave.
That's a very good character.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm
What about you?
inclined to like Maz. She's my main right now. However, my second favorite character in terms of just character personality and all that stuff is Lilith. She's one of my favorites for sure.
Oh, Lilith
I
is
love-
my
So-
life.
I love
sorry.
that's a mood. I love her her character, how her dedication, where it comes from, and just how she's written. She seems to be written really well, especially in Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3 so far.
Yes. What do you guys think of the voice acting? I'm actually curious. I've heard that these games have really good voice actors.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start that off with Marcus. So Marcus is a character everyone hears. He's in every game. You know,
Yeah.
guns, guns, guns. There's a bullet with your name on it. Oh, that came out wrong. So you can tell from the intro of Borderlands 3 how excited that man was to voice his role again. Because he
wow.
was so, you could feel it in that voice. He's telling you a story.
Marcus,
don't know who-
Marcus
like,
is like
of-
the perspective of the story.
Pretty
Like,
much. And I love how he's portrayed. His voice actor is amazing, and he was very excited. Everyone was excited to really do that game again. I think everyone is the same in terms of cast of characters except for Claptrap. I want to say everyone else is exactly the same. And I know
actually,
everyone was happy with it.
Troy Baker wasn't able to reprise his role as Reese from Tales from the Borderlands. It's a different voice actor this time.
Aw.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. I heard that there was a controversy. Borderlands is kind of one of the games that I'm like, I don't want no drama. I just want to play my game. And so I didn't really look too far into it. But yeah, but the new voice actor did a really good job at voice matching as far as I'm concerned. So,
Oh, wow.
but the thing that
Yeah,
I love
Claptrap
about
did
the
a good
Borderlands world is that no one is 100% the good guy.
No,
like,
no one.
Okay.
Even Lilith
I love nuance
being-
like that.
Yeah, even Lilith being like the main protagonist, because she's one of the 4 characters that you can choose from the original game and play as.
Rest in
She
peace, Roland.
still is like 100% down with murder. Like,
Yeah, it's funny because they're the heroes of the wasteland, but yet there's justified murder.
Wow.
Like
Exactly.
everyone can justify murder because it's kind of just a staple of Pandora.
Yeah, that is kind of like when you look at just the parallel of that to our reality too. There's so many instances where like, oh, it's revenge or it's self-defense or this or that, where we can really justify a lot of violent acts. There are certain acts that can't necessarily be justified because you can't revenge do some things. But like, I think that it's interesting to draw detail to that, and the fact that the game creates such a balanced like line, as if you're saying that it does, that'd be really interesting. And I have had it on my list to play. It does sound like a really good game, and I've only heard good things, and I've seen clips from it. Does that have the Mad Moxie or no?
Yes.
Mad Moxie.
yeah, Mad Moxie,
Mad Moxie.
is from the
Yo,
I have a
Borderlands
friend that
series.
cosplays her, and I love her
You
character
mean-
design and her actress. And
You mean big titty, soft, life hard titty soft kind of lady?
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, fam.
You know, it's funny
She
that
does a
Mad
really good one of
Moxie's
that.
actually such a fan favorite because she was actually a DLC character from the first game. Like she wasn't
wow.
even like an original character from the main game. She was a DLC character that was added on later. And it was Moxie's Underdome, and she was like the head of this like underground fighting ring. Not that you need a reason to fight on Pandora, but
I remember that.
That's kind of parallel to how Harley Quinn got her start by just being kind of like in the animated series, just this almost throwaway-esque character, but the love that she got made her this huge thing she is now because she wasn't in the original comics. So it's like, yeah, that's kind of cool to see like these small characters, but a community come around them and make them so much bigger. Yeah, but I think it's time that we jump into our Weiss Breakers now that we've had some beautiful video game talks and we've caught up on everything going on in our lives. How are you guys feeling? You want to jump into it?
Yeah.
All right.
Feeling a little
And
warm, so
first-
let's get these icebreakers down.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Let's snap our bones. Let's all raise our hands and do
Snap
some
our
little
bones.
stretches. Yeah, fam. We're on Weiss Breakers. We don't fuck around.
yeah.
We can say the
she'll
fuck
break
word
your
here.
kneecaps if you don't do these right.
Dude, I will. It's gonna
She's
happen.
like the
Weiss
mafia.
doesn't play.
It's-
Weiss will not fucking play.
The
It's
Schnees are
bold
the
of you to assume
mafia,
that I haven't
didn't
already
you know
broken
that?
my knee prematurely.
Actually, that's a fair point. So, alrighty then. First, Weiss Breaker. I feel pretty broken in already, but I love breaking things. Would you rather be a cyborg or a half man, half animal?
Cyborg.
Half man, half animal.
Ooh,
And no, I'm not a furry.
already. I was
not a
about to
furry.
say,
So,
I'm
you know,
already
it's-
hearing like two sides of this coin,
That
and
sounds
so
like something
I need to hear
someone
some
in
reasoning.
denial would say.
Listen here. You listen
What?
here. Listen, a lot of people would yell at me because they say I am a furry. You all know who you are, but like I just like the thought of having like an animal ears. That's kind of fun, you know.
It's very natural. So you don't want any like
I don't want
animal
like
legs
I don't
or,
want like a
any
tail. I
strength.
don't want like well, night vision would be cool, or like a better sense of smell would be cool. But like, mostly just
Okay.
like ears, you know, for the most part,
Yeah.
and a couple instincts, but nothing
And it would,
serious.
yeah. It would be a more natural power set versus
Exactly.
cyborg might have to have upgrades. So, Beau, I'm
Mhm.
curious to hear your reasoning here.
I've just always loved the idea of having like robotic enhancements. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of like crazy person that has been like when I first got into cosplay was like, man, if I ever lose my right arm and like part of my left leg, I'm gonna cosplay Captain Scarlet from Borderlands or whatever because like they're characters that have missing body parts and whatnot. But then it occurred to me that it's like, well, but they also have robot arms in like Borderlands and like Ruby and all that. So I could just be a badass and have like robot parts and then probably I honestly can't say that I wouldn't be one of those people that kind of becomes obsessed with just like upgrading myself.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's kind of like, well, why would you let your human body keep limiting you? As long as your like heart and your
Ooh.
mind are still your own, then like
There's a really good show on YouTube right now called Meta Runner. It's really cool. My friend Anthony is in it. And he's been sharing it, so I watched like an episode or two, and it's really cool. And it's kind of about a world where pro gaming is kind of like the thing, and so people upgrade like their arm to be faster, to click faster. And then there's this whole other story to it. But like to be a meta runner, to be like a meta gamer, is like you're like the shit, but you also have to sacrifice some stuff in order to be like the best. And it kind of goes into like a lot of that, and like how much of your humanity do you want to take for like popularity or for this or that. And like I highly recommend it because it sounds like something up your alley. But I might actually be in the camp more of the half man or half woman, half human animal person thing because I would get tired of like, what if it rusts, or like I'm kind of a grandma when it comes to some tech stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. If it's on my body and something fucks up, it's probably gonna cost me a bunch of money to get somebody to fix it because I probably won't learn it myself. I know me. I probably don't want to do that. Like, I can learn some stuff, but when it comes to like my health and safety, I think I want to trust professionals. And I ain't got money for them professionals because they're probably worth every penny. So I'd want something that's like more natural, that increases my just general livingness. So I guess I would go for like, I don't know, maybe part dog, or I kind of like the idea of having the cute little ears, like, and then like maybe a cute little nose. So like my senses can be increased. And if it could also give me the stamina of a dog with how much they run, oh my God, I would love that. Like, I wouldn't want to change much physical wise, but but it does say you have to be half.
It could be instinctual parts too, though. That's the thing, because like I said, like it would, if it had to be half, I wouldn't want the legs or claws or toes or whatever, paws.
Yeah.
But I would like the ears, maybe the night vision, or like the height sense of smell and all the other instincts, you know.
Yeah.
Because the instincts are half the equation. Then their actual physical traits are the other half.
We can just steal all that mental shit and maybe
not
add
all of it, because some of it's not probably a good idea.
Well, actually, no, that's fair. That's fair. Not all of it. Keep our humanity.
Like, this man is too close. Bite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Rough.
Yeah.
Sees the moon. Oh, woo.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind if on command, like a cat does, I could be like, king, like with my claws, like shing, like I could pull them out, you know?
Like Tuxin.
Yeah. But then like I can put it back in. Oh my God. Oh heck yeah, you are. Man, we're learning so much today.
I'm one shot.
But yeah,
character.
I think I'd want to go that more natural route, because God, being a cyborg would be cool, and I think you could do some really badass stuff, but I'm just lazy.
Like if I was Cyborg from Teen Titans, then that would probably be the furthest I'd go.
Yeah.
Because Cyborg is like literally half and half, kinda.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that seems really interesting. So I would probably,
sure.
if I were to be a cyborg, I would only go as far as Cyborg himself.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of,
which is still pretty far.
Yeah, but just so very far. In terms of human enhancement.
Yeah.
But in terms of the other one, I think I would prefer that, because it seems a lot, like you said, it's a lot more natural, and also because I like dogs a lot, and and wolves, and like, it's kind of like
you could talk to animals.
Exactly. It's like my it's like how I have the KRWBY avatar. Like, I used to run in a VR chat all the time. It's half, she's like a wolf on us with a tail, and she's adorable. Like, I would do something like that.
I would,
pretty much.
Yeah.
I would say, just for the sake of, having an option, if I were to choose to be the half man, half animal, I would kind of just more so choose like what kind of faunus I would be, because I've always loved I've always loved Ilya. Like, and,
for sure,
like changing colors and whatnot,
changing colors depending on how you're feeling every day, and also what gender you're feeling.
We had a Weiss Breaker, wasn't it? That was like, would you rather like, wasn't it like, would you rather like have like change colors based on your emotion or something like that?
Yeah, or have tattoos all over your body that show what you did the previous day.
Yeah.
Stupid
it was
shit.
Hilarious.
that was a good conversation, because of course immediately we went to, I don't want to know whose dick you sucked last night.
Yeah.
See,
I would just like, if
went.
people knew that was happening, I would just eat a bunch of bananas one day, and that'd be the only thing I did. So the next day I'm just covered in bananas.
Oh my God.
See, here's where my mind went first. It's like, if I was a partier, which I'm not in college, it's just like you get really drunk one night. Now there's that, but what I'm focused on is the day after, when you're shit faced, when you're hungover and you're puking. Half of your tattoos are puking in the toilet. Like, just,
well, no, it would be what you did the previous day. So if you're puking today and you weren't puking yesterday,
like the next day the next day it would be puking
all
over it. And I think that would be funnier than you getting shit faced.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go to our next Weiss Breaker. I love that this one started off with you guys immediately being like opposite. So I'm curious to see if this next one will bring anyone together.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you rather be fluent in all languages and never be able to travel, or be able to travel anywhere for a year, all expense paid, but never be able to learn a word of a different language for the rest of your life?
Fuck.
Travel anywhere for a year.
All expense paid, anywhere you want to go, but you can never, ever learn a new language. Even if you try, it won't stick.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. There's Google Translate.
Here's my dilemma.
That's fair.
I've never been good with learning other languages. I have ADHD, really bad ADHD, so I can't.
Yeah.
It's hard for me naturally to understand another language. Like I struggled through Spanish class, but there's a couple languages that I've always wanted to learn, like German or Japanese a little bit, or Italian.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't made the step to learn them, but I know them a little bit. But I'm also a huge traveler. Like this last year with KRWBY has been amazing because I'm able to actually go places that I've never been to before, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Like I've never been down south since 2006 before I went to AWA. I'd never been to Texas. I've never been west of the Mississippi until Texas last July.
Yeah.
And that was amazing, and I would hate to give up traveling, to learn these languages, but at the same time, I want to be able to immerse myself in the culture, of the place and learn the language. Like I feel like that's half the experience if you go to a foreign country, to learn the language and to immerse yourself in that as best you can. Obviously, some people are different. They just want to see that place and do some stuff that tourists do.
Yeah,
but
it's just too limiting to never be able to travel ever, because like that would mean I could never fucking leave Alabama, and like even to just go to the cons that I like to go to and stuff. I don't want to stay in Alabama forever. And even though this would immensely help my voiceover stuff and I could do it online and it would be really cool, I think in my everyday life, I would be really depressed if I couldn't leave. Like, because I travel at least once every few months.
Yeah,
and
me
so,
too.
like, if I had to lose that, that would be terrible. As much as cool as it would be and as great as it would be for my career, I'd rather just do the year of traveling, because I already suck at learning other languages too. I've tried. I took years of Spanish. I'm sure that if I truly committed myself, I could probably get somewhere in a few years, but I just haven't made the conscious effort to really give it my all in that sense. And I don't know when that will be, because I have so many other things I'm giving my full effort to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, having a full expense paid vacation for a year seems pretty cool. And it does suck that I know indefinitely that I can't learn a new language, but it also is kind of freeing to know, like, okay, this is a thing I just won't do.
Yeah. I think I would be leading towards the same thing, because I've always wanted to travel. I want to travel the world one day. Like that's one of my bucket list things.
And you'd have a year. You could do the whole world.
And I could do it the whole year, and then I don't have to pay for any of it. So
yeah,
simply for that reason, I'd be able to see everything and pay for everything, including a translator.
Yeah,
I might as well.
I would honestly.
It would be stupid to pass up on that.
What'd you say, Beau?
Expanding on that, I would honestly use that travel for a year. And I've said that I've wanted to do this for a very long time. And it's always been my like, oh yeah, if you win the lottery, what would you do? Is I would do my best to go to as many out-of-country cons as possible.
Yes.
To like be able to experience what conventions are like. Because like going to a convention on like the East Coast is already so different from going to a convention out here.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't even imagine what it would be like to go to a convention like in Australia, or I've always wanted to go to like MCM.
Yeah.
Hell,
even the North versus the South, like cons are different. Like up here, it's big con floor, lots of people, tons of places. And
dude,
down south
and
at
you can
AWA,
bring
I
all
was
your
shocked.
Friends.
Yeah, at AWA,
It's
I was
all
actually really shocked.
paid.
I was expecting another giant con floor in a big center with lots of people and lots of booths, but no, in an open space. But no, it's like in a hotel with some open spaces still, but not as much, but still a lot of places to mingle. Like you have to be surprised at like how little it looks at first, but there's a lot going on, and it's still a lot of fun.
You haven't experienced Dragon Con, my dude.
Oh my god,
that's
Dragon
also
Con
on my bucket list. That's on my bucket list.
It's so wild, my dude.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. But like I went to PAX East. I've been going to PAX East since 2016. And that was sort of my benchmark, but it's been beat several times by RTX, by AWA. Those two definitely beat it.
Dang. Well, all right. So this time we all chose the same answer.
Oh.
Heck yeah! Look at us being so in sync. So let's go to our last Weiss Breaker before we get to our fan questions. You don't know who Justin Timberlake is?
No. Which one of us is Justin Timberlake?
I'm actually Justin Timberwolf, if you look at the last question.
Ooh,
but
so that's
wooing zone.
I will probably be Justin
$350
Timberlake
fine.
because I am I make the worst jokes. Shade thrown.
You're going down. You're yelling.
I'm going yelling
timber.
Timberwolf. So many rugby puns. I
Shaking my
apologize for
head.
nothing. I can see it. I can see you through this auditory experience. You shaking your head.
You know,
I
that's
will
what
not
real
be
voice
stopped.
acting is you can just tell that I'm shaking my head.
Dang it. I can hear it. Ugh, I don't like this. All right. Final Weiss Breaker. Would you rather always be able to see 5 minutes into the future or always be able to see 100 years into the future?
I mean, I feel like seeing 100 years in the future, you see the same thing for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you could probably skip to different parts of the future. You
Yeah,
could be
fair.
like, I want to see what's going on in my great-granddaughter's life or something. Like, I don't know. Or like, do I have a great-granddaughter? Oh, shit. Like, you could be
Whoops.
like,
Something happened there.
yeah. Or something like
think-
that. Like,
I think it would be interesting, but also funniest if it's 5 minutes, because think about it this way: you could be like, so like say you're hanging out with your friends, and then you're just like,
yeah.
man, dude, you're so fucking stupid, and they're gonna be like, why? Give me a few minutes, and then that stupid thing happens in that few minutes, and you're like, that's why. Like,
Yeah.
just make shitty memes because you can, but also because if anything, it kind of, personally, I think 100 years is too far. Like,
Yeah.
because it's just like, well, what can I do about it? Like, no matter what,
Yeah,
it's
there's nothing
gonna
you can do
happen.
about
It
it.
feels kind of shitty. Like, you're just like, well, I don't like this. How? Like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, you have
Yeah.
a long, like 100 years to prepare for it if you even survive that long. But like, 5 minutes is 5 minutes.
I mean, if you're a
Yeah, what-
cyborg, then
I mean, then what if
Ooh.
you become a cyborg as a result of something that happens within the 5 minutes, or the 100
I'm
years
kind
even?
of like nervous about the 5-minute one because I feel like I would just keep doing it and I would just be like, oh God,
Yeah, it's
I'd be
probably
so
something you
anxious.
can't shut off or shut out.
Yeah, or well, I think how this question would
Sounds.
phrase it is you can just like, when you want to do it, you can look, and when you don't want to, you can turn it off. But I would
Mhm.
be so tempted all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I would do 5 minutes just because like time travel is like I've
Yeah.
always loved time travel, and like being able to see the future in a sense is kind of like mental time travel. And
Yeah.
then being able to let your actions be dictated by what will happen.
Yeah.
Like be really nifty, could help a lot of people, could hurt a lot of people. It's kind of a really powerful position to
sure.
be in.
I think I want to have the 100 years one because I don't want the 5-year one, or not the 5-year, the 5-minute one, because I would just be too anxious and I would just keep doing it and then I wouldn't really live. But the 100-year one, I could profit off of this. I'm gonna write a
fortune teller.
novel. I'm gonna write a novel about, like, I'm gonna look at a particular point in the future and I'm just gonna watch like someone's life for like, I don't know, for a year of their life or something. And I'm just going to write a novel about it because it hasn't happened yet. And I'm going to sell this novel. People are going to be like, oh man, this is cool. But then in 100 years, somebody's going to be like, whoa, this
person
was
got it
about
right.
me.
This person got it 100% right. What the
They
hell?
just got it. Like, or I'm going to write about like a political uprising or something that happens in 100 years, but I'm going to write it verbatim from every perspective, how it happens. So that
Reddit
like,
becomes a country.
yes, it's yes, and then people are gonna find this novel in 100 years and be like, "How did she know?"
The prophecy has
Yeah, the
It's like-
prophet see, my dudes.
that's the name of the book.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
It's
so
it's a not
yes.
so secret you trying to make a profit off of the fact you have time, you have
but no one would
future
believe me. They'd be
abilities.
like, "Oh, you can't
Exactly.
see 100 years in the future because it's not provable." So I'd be like, "Yeah, I know. I just have a really good imagination." But then in 100 years, when we're all dead, the future people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, what did she see?"
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like that kind of happened a few times, where it's like a few random pieces of media got something right, and like for
Yeah.
example,
Oh, The Simpsons.
The Simpsons. Yes, The Simpsons got a handful of things right. I can't
Yeah.
remember all of them, but I do remember they predicted
Yeah.
Trump being president.
Yeah, and
Not in a
him
particular
exactly
year.
going down like the escalators or something.
Mhm.
Like, it was like, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't 100 years, but it was still like, if I could
It's
do
still-
some shit like that.
It was a decade or two.
Yeah, like man.
That's still pretty huge.
That'd be so cool.
Couple other things.
I would find so many ways to try to make a profit with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in terms of just being silly.
Yeah. Another reason why I choose 5 minutes is because it's less dangerous. Because it's like,
oh, for sure.
Because I don't like time travel as a concept is cool as hell, and I like reading stories about time travel. Like Terra Nova is one of the best stories I've seen in terms of time travel, because it's basically you find a wormhole in like 2030 something Earth, and there's pollution always. There's like no crops, no greenery. You're dying.
Yeah.
So they find a wormhole, and people start immigrating into it, into a pocket dimension of the past that doesn't affect the future, where it's around the Jurassic period of the world. So they just build a civilization with all these crazy life forms and viruses, and they have to keep like adapting to this whole different world. But the fact that it exists in a pocket time hole that is Earth and can communicate back and forth with the other side, sort of, is cool. And yeah, it's still
well, in this question, it's just you can see. You can't go anywhere or do anything like that.
Oh yeah,
and
I know.
I
but
actually
like,
think the 5 minute would be more dangerous because again, you can actually do something to prevent or like try to stop it, and so you're just constantly living trying to do that. But the 100 years, no matter what you do, you aren't gonna really affect it because you're gonna be dead.
well, here's
so like
here's
it's
the
less
thing,
stressful.
Though, is what if you're just chilling one day and like you've looked into the future, you've seen how things are going to be, how the world's going to be, and one day you decide to take another peek and it's completely changed and it's like revolved around something that you did, and then now it's like fuck. Like,
so that's the thing. I
just don't think I'm important enough. I don't think and like I know that's like a weird thing to say because like yes, your vote matters. Yes, like there's a lot of times where individualism is important, but I don't think one fucking person have enough power to truly, and like at this point in my life, no, I don't have enough power to actually change something to the point where it's going to be catastrophic. Like there are people in positions of power that do have that power, that do have the nukes, but like I don't got the nukes.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
But
like, and either way, if it's super changed, I'm going to be dead. It won't affect me.
Man, it's a good thing I'm a cyborg.
See, here's the thing
I'll
that I
remember
don't
you
like
fondly.
about. See, here's the thing why I choose 5 minutes as well is because it is. I feel like it's less scary than 100 years because there's if it's weird because of it depends on which definition of seeing the future you take. There's two different ways. It's the future. You see the future, and if you look forward, no matter what you do, that thing will always happen. You cannot avoid it. Or there's a thing that you can see the future as it's currently looking, but if you change something
like
else,
Garnet from
it will
Steven
change.
Universe?
Yeah, if you do something about it, it'll change around. So it's like, or like Back to the Future, even though you don't see into the future really, but you know what I mean. Like if you do one thing in the past, it will change the entire future. If you, or if you simply see it, nothing you can do can avoid it. Like I can't remember any movies like that off the top of my head, but I choose to. I personally I believe in the one of if you see the future. Or at least this is how I interpret this question. If you see the future, you can't avoid it, especially the 5 minute one. You know.
Yeah.
100 years one, any number of things can happen to change anything. And as Beau said, like if you stop looking for a while and you look again later on, and everything's completely different, like how the hell did it get there? You know, like what the fuck happened? You know?
Yeah, but again, it doesn't affect me because I'm dead.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would
these
say
are
5
these are
minutes.
definitely interesting
This is a big
answers. Yeah, for sure. And I do like the perspective more of like the Garnet version where it's like things can still change. It's just this is kind of the projection you're on.
Yeah, this is how it's currently looking, my dude. You know?
I do like that perspective more. So yeah, anybody below in the comments, if you like these Weiss Breakers, tell us your answers. We'd love to read them because we are about to get into our fan questions. And if you have any fan questions, please submit them below.
I definitely just dropped my phone
I
and
heard that.
it slammed into my mic stand.
Oh no!
I didn't didn't hear much. I didn't know that happened. I thought it just fell on the floor.
Chat. Put an F in the
F,
comments,
F, F, F,
please.
F, F,
I was
F.
trying to look
as
at
long
my...
as your audio is still going, you're good.
Yeah, I was trying to look at my like list for things.
Oh no. Well, we are going to jump into our fan questions while you get that figured out. This first one is kind of long, so I will go ahead and read it for us. How does it feel? Wait, no. How does it make you feel knowing that people in the KRWBY community genuinely look up to you and admire the hard work and effort you put out? And what is something you wish you could say to someone out there trying to get into this field? Or just in general to people who are trying to work towards their dream or profession? From Sugar Rush. Thank you for your influx of questions, Sugar Rush, because each week you're the real MVP and you're just like, oh, I want to know all this stuff. And it means a lot that you support us. So yeah, why don't you guys speak to this question? How do you feel about this?
I have a long-winded answer, so
tell it to us.
So here, hold on, let me just keep my screen on the question.
Give us the good shit.
Okay. So first of all, it's an amazing feeling to know that people look up to us and admire us, and it makes what we do seem worth it. And not that it doesn't otherwise, but like it's like a sort of sense of validation in a sense, where it's like, man, people actually do like this, and that makes me happy. Like, it always puts a smile on my face. My reason for doing content or doing what we do is so that someone somewhere can smile. I don't care if everyone hates it except for one person and smiles, or if it's everyone that smiles. I prefer the latter, obviously, but I just want someone to smile at the end of the day, you know. That knowing people look up to us and admire this hard work is even better. And it's something that, because it's a lot of hard work, and we've gotten really far from where we started last year, at least like this whole, in terms of the whole massive group that we have now. Because this has been going on for 2 or 3 years now. So in transitioning into the next part, what's something you could say, you wish you could say to someone out there who may be trying to get into this? Keep going. Don't stop. Just do what you think is right and live off of constructive criticism, whether it be in the form of YouTube comments, or if you're asking someone a lot more professional, hey, how does this look? You know, that's because constructive criticism is your best friend. And if you can't take criticism well, then try to teach yourself to receive it better. So like if you have a hard time taking constructive criticism, just be like thinking to yourself, they're not trying to shit on my stuff. They're not trying to bring me down. They're trying to improve me, but this is what they see wrong, and they're being honest about it. And if they're not being honest, then there is no way to improve. So a lot of people don't take criticism very well, and that's completely fine. They all have their own reasons that are very valid, and it's just really a matter of looking at it in terms of how to get it to receive it better.
And kind of pursuing skill and patience, because when you're doing stuff like this, there's going to be a lot of times where it benefits you to wear a lot of hats, where it benefits you to have a lot of skills. And it's great to focus on one, but there are a lot of times where you need to at least dip your toe in some of the other stuff to help you with the one skill that you maybe want to get the best at. And being patient, because it's not going to happen overnight. And understanding that your progress and your rate of progress is normal and natural and nothing to be ashamed of. Don't doubt your ability, but understand that your best will keep getting better only if you're consciously aware that starting out and throughout the process, there's going to be times when it won't be your best performance, even though it is your best performance, if that does make sense. Because your best performance will keep
going higher,
becoming better. And understanding that can be hard sometimes. And allowing yourself to truly give yourself to a character, to a project, and in the moments that you are working on it or in the moments that you are improving on it, being actively there and available to yourself to learn whatever it is that you need to learn. Like, especially with acting, like if you have a script, one thing that someone that I worked with for a little bit, a piece of advice that they gave me was, in this moment, I am forgetting all of my outside worries. I am committed to giving this character my time. I am committed to getting to know this character and becoming this character. Like in that moment, whatever stress or whatever else is going on in the outside world, just saying, hey, I want to learn about you. I want to be with you. It's kind of like when you're giving your time or yourself to another person and just allowing yourself to really commit and be in the moment, be mindful and present. And that can apply to editing, that can apply to drawing, allowing yourself to feel that moment, because it's so easy to focus on the big highs in our life of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to meet this big celebrity, or oh my gosh, I got cast in this big thing. This is it. I've peaked. It's like, no, this is just another step. And if something goes wrong in that step, or if it goes just as well as you hoped it would, don't just rely on the high of that to keep you. Like, don't stay in that place. Just understand, okay, now what can I do with this to take me to that next level? Because there will always be a next level. And yeah, kind of keeping that in mind on your journey. And yeah, we answered something similar to this on another episode in terms of like how it makes us feel that there are people out there. So please listen to our other episodes if you want to hear my full answer on that, because I don't want to take too much time. I want to let Beau and you talk a little bit. But long story short, it makes me super happy. And whenever I have nights where I'm just like, oh my God, what is my life? It really does help me to know that there are people out there that think I'm doing something cool. It is very validating.
Yeah, I would say that, to a degree, I kind of like, I'm still in that mindset of like, this is ridiculous. Like, why would anyone like kind of admire the stuff that we do, or like, like really,
Right.
really kind of like be fans
dudes
of
that
the
play VR
stuff
chat.
that we do. But then I also think about how I feel, when some of my favorite like reactors or like gamers on YouTube like post new content and whatnot, and I'm like super excited to just see how they reacted to something. And it's like, it kind of begs the question of like, when did I start caring for this random person so much? But like, it's just like you just want to like, I get it. Like, I relate to that. So if like admiring the stuff that we do and enjoying the stuff that we do is something that makes you happy, then like, I'm really glad that we're doing exactly what we wanted to with this. My big thing about what could I say to someone who might be trying to get into this kind of field, or people who are trying to work towards their dream job or profession, specifically with like entertainment. And I think I mentioned this at one point on another one of the episodes, is that one of the best things you can do, especially when you're just starting out, is if you can't find the work that you're looking for, make it yourself. Which is kind of like what we're doing here. Katy was like, man, I really want to host more podcasts. So she put together Perpetually Ajar, and here we are, 4 episodes in.
Yay.
And so it's like, when
you are the master of your own fate.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, now as a director for the VR shorts, it's like, oh man, I really want to do this short. And it's like, it's completely in my capability. Like, it's not, unless it's something completely left field that's against like the stuff that we make. Like, I could basically just be like, cool, I'm going to go make it because I want to. And it puts my stuff out
make
there.
a fan fiction of Ruby and her scythe, and it's going to be canon.
And sometimes at first it's not as easy as like, oh, I can make this, because there are a lot of resources that over time you have to learn how to use and learn how to, the best of your ability, what works best for you. So if you have people in your life you can get advice from, always approach things with a mindset of learning and humility. Never go into something thinking you know more than them. And even if you do, there's something that they have to offer that you don't know. Go into it with a very humble and like calming, positive way of like, hey, I want this new skill. Not that necessarily you're entitled to people giving you all their info and stuff, but like, or not that necessarily everyone you speak to will open arms give you every piece of information. But if there's a situation where you feel like you can ask someone just something basic and the rest you can do on your own, like, try that. Like, because most of the time people, as long as you're not asking for like, like their credit card number or something, or as long as you're not sending them like
number, 3 digits on the back, the expiration
80
month and year.
paragraphs of like, I need every specific detail about everything. It's like, sometimes you won't be able to get that. But as long as you understand what is it that I want to learn, and you ask those questions first, and then you see how far you can get on your own, and then you write down maybe the pieces that you're missing, and you understand what you're missing, then seek out maybe help to kind of fill in those blanks, but doing the rest on your own. Like, because help is so important, but also understanding that help is a jumping point for you to do it yourself too.
Hmm. And to add on to that, there's also important to realize that no matter what you're doing, your vision of the end product will never be the reality of the end
Oh
product.
yeah.
That could be a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it, because sometimes things fall short, or like you just can't. There's just not out of your capability, and that's fine, because you could try really hard to make it, or you can just learn from that experience and realize, man, I missed a step and I would need more time to do this, or like I don't know anything about this, and then you go to learn it, sort of thing. But like that's okay if it's out of the scope. If your scope is too big at once, because Lord knows that my school projects are always too ambitious, and I bite the bullet for that all the time. But um, it's important to do that early on, to be over ambitious by accident or even on purpose, and realize that you are being that way, and then just sort of learn to dial yourself back, as well. And then also realize that there will always be something new to learn, because you do
Hmm.
not possibly know everything. And this goes back to your wearing many hats thing as well, because doing that sort of with that sort of mentality of you don't know everything, but you can easily learn a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats in KRWBY. Like, I'm not just the lead video editor. I'm not just the VR director. I'm not just Tuxin. I'm also an admin. I'm also a modeler for the modeling team. I'm also, hang on, I need to go back and look at my roles.
And there's nothing wrong
I
with
have a lot.
specializing, and there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I have limits and
Hmm.
I want to focus on these. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Absolutely.
understanding that it is beneficial to at least dip your toes in understanding other elements,
Yeah.
and being open to the fact that maybe one day you might want to help out in some of that stuff, not letting yourself get completely tied down in what you do,
Yeah.
but being respectful of the fact that, hey, like, I do have things that I want to focus on, and that's really important to understand your focuses, because it can bite you in the butt if you try to bite off too much.
Yeah. It's like,
Mhm.
don't overextend yourself, but learn what you think is within your element. Because like what I do doesn't actually really relate entirely to my major. Like, I'm the lead video editor. That's my biggest role, within the project easily. But I'm going for video game art, so like 3D animation, 3D modeling. I do that the least, if anything, on the project. But the important part is I'm learning a lot of the process of the whole production through what I do. I am a lead video
Hmm.
editor. I know the compositing, I know the editing, I know the pre-editing, I know the scripting phase, I know the post phase. I know the general parts. I know how to do some of the stuff, and that's what's important. It's you shouldn't strive to be a jack of all trades in everything, but it's completely okay to be a jack of all trades. You should also be really good at a few things over a few other things, but don't be good at just one thing, because a lot of companies out
Yeah.
there are looking for people who know the process, because that makes you better. Yes, you need to be good
Yeah.
at one thing you're being hired for. Yeah. So if you're being hired for 3D modeling or something for a game, you shouldn't be only well versed in like 2D
Yeah.
animation.
But information is a skill too. Like,
Exactly.
just
Communication.
understanding those processes without necessarily knowing how to be a full-time video
Hmm.
editor can be
Exactly.
helpful.
Exactly. So like being a jack of all trades, with like knowing how to model a lot, animate now, rig now. I'm learning a lot of the process for getting there, and I'm also learning a lot of the post stuff, so I can really flex that muscle and be able to help these roles in professional environments. So I'm sorry for rambling on and on, but that kind of leads to
Yeah.
like to the answer to the how do you work towards your dream job or profession question. Um, Essentially that leads into it, like, you need to be happy with where you're at right now. And a
Hmm.
lot of people, I'm going to be real broad, let's say retail workers, probably don't like their job because it's retail. Who really likes retail working there? You don't make a lot of money. It's a pain. Customer service is a great skill to have, but it hurts. Because
Yeah.
people it can be because customers, we all know customers in retail can be dense, and it's everyone has those customers, everyone has those days, and it sucks. What keeps me going are the positives I can make out of that work experience. I work at the Home Depot. I'm lucky that it's a company that still relatively treats its workers really well. And there's a lot of things that I am annoyed by with my job. Um, like I won't go into it, but I could honestly, if I listed it out, I would find many more negatives than positives. But what keeps me leaving that store with a smile on my face every night is the future, my hope for the future, knowing things are gonna go somewhere sometime, and the couple positives that I can pull out of it. Like, man, I really hated today. I was busy all day. I didn't have time to really eat at my break or something. But man, I loved it when I was hanging out with my coworker doing this with him. Like helping him out with some customers, because my coworkers are the people that keep me smiling every day, honestly. And without them, I would be a lot more miserable at work. So
Yeah.
finding these little positives in anything, it doesn't have to be just your job. It could be in school. It could be in, I don't know, really anything. Like just finding these little silver linings and trying to be optimistic about it, which I understand for a lot of people is hard because some people are pessimists at by nature, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But just taking these positives and trying to emphasize them with yourself
And I'll
will
boop one more note
will
on
make
there
you
before
happy.
I let Beau talk, because we've been like not letting Beau talk. But
Sorry,
to add
Beau.
one tiny note at the end of that, with money especially, like
Mhm.
whatever job you're doing, if you have something else you want to do, just say like, hey, I'm going to do my work here, and in my spare time I'm going to work on that artistic thing that I want to do, and the money I earn here is going to go towards this thing so
Mhm.
that I can one day maybe potentially earn something from that.
Mhm.
Like if you want a good microphone, well geez, if you're researching the type of microphone you want, and if you're asking around and then one day you're like, okay, I have the knowledge and the information and I know what I want, you can start saving towards it. Then you can get it, and then one day you could get a bigger studio.
Mhm.
Like, and whatever it is that you're doing, use that time towards the things that you really want in your life.
Yeah. Have the studio that Brian has that's worth 4 times my car's worth.
Oh, Beau, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yay! I know it showed you popping out a little bit for the viewers at home.
Oh yeah, I've been Discord for me has been like really fuckety the last like 24 hours, and
Yeah.
so like you guys will just cut out and I'll still see your like icons moving, but I won't be able to hear you, and so the only way that I can do it is just like leave and come back real quickly. But
Oh, okay. Well, as long as it doesn't affect the audio.
Oh, yeah, no.
And hopefully to the viewers at home, it should
I
not.
do-
But yeah, do you have any more thoughts on this, Beau? I'd love to hear them. Sorry, we were talking so much.
No, I really don't. I just need to say that I'm 3 for 3. I have bumped my mic 3 times this time. I'm just like, I have the worst luck today.
Sorry, Brian.
And I just feel so bad. I'm like, oh God, I can't win today. It's one of those days. It'd be like that. But yeah, I'm gonna just say, don't be afraid to kind of, spread your wings a little bit, and like don't be afraid to be a jack of all trades. A lot of people look down on being a jack of all trades, kind of, like saying, having many hats that you wear. Like I don't know how to do the whole like modeling thing of like I wouldn't be able to model a box if you told me to. However, I've spent hours and hours and hours sitting in calls while Tina has been working on models and listening to her, and she'll just sit there and she'll kind of talk to herself, or she'll like explain things just kind of absentmindedly. And so I have enough of an understanding to be like, okay, so this is doable, this isn't doable. Or like, be able to understand, like if I load into a model for mocapping for a short, I can look down at it and be like, oh no, the weight painting on this is wrong, or we need to fix the weight painting on this. And like, I know enough to be able to at least hold a conversation,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. Well, then why don't we go to our next fan question then? Mm-hmm. Our next and final fan question before we get into our KRWBY News Corner. Well, how would you phrase your biggest wish to a genie so they can't find a loophole and screw it up? And that is from Conrad Paolo.
It's funny because I actually this is something that I've actually put some thought into.
Ooh, okay, please spill the tea.
So my wish for a genie, in order to try to make it to where they wouldn't be able to find a loophole is whenever I am about to make a purchase, I always have exactly the amount that I need to make the purchase in exactly the means that I need to like have. So like if I'm at a store, I have the amount of cash that I need, or like if I'm making a purchase online, the amount of money that I need in my account is there. So that would be whenever I'm about to make a purchase, I have exactly the amount of money that I need to make that purchase.
Do you think it takes the money from someone else?
I mean,
who cares? Probably
you
takes it to the
know-
black market.
we've established this. I'm a horrible person. So
dang.
there's no way that I could be like, it's one of those, like, if I knew I could get away with it, would I? Because it's just like, how would the police try to,
the
like,
banks are
prove
insured.
that
It's
like-
fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That
Probably
would
came from
be
the black
my
market
wish,
anyway.
because it's just like, I wouldn't want to say, oh, I wish for unlimited money or all the money in the world, because then they could just spawn like
Bankrupt
a
the
gazillion
world.
dollars in gold bullion and it'll fall on you and kill you. Like,
Yeah.
Or like bankrupt the world economy.
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, suddenly Fort Knox is just like empty.
I think to play on yours, maybe I would wish that every day one $100 bill, American US dollar currency, appears on my nightstand and is ready to be spent. Like, every day, one crisp American USD $100 bill just appears on my desk. And because then, even if it
I would
is coming
include that
from
as a
somewhere
current
else.
bill as well, not like an old one.
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
not worth any money.
A current US dollar will appear, and it will continue to upgrade over the years. And that way, even if it is coming from somewhere else, like in my lifetime, if I'm just getting $100 a day, I don't think that would be enough to like bankrupt or like do all this shit. Like if it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, that'd be different. But like $100 bill, or maybe even just like a 50, like
But
every
then,
day.
Here's the thing. What if inflation causes $50 to not be worth much anymore? Then you'd be getting like the equivalent of $5 maybe in the future. That's the thing. So like,
But the
so
genie
here's-
would
see-
not necessarily touch the economy.
Oh, I know. It wouldn't be the genie that manipulates that. It would be just the world economy. So
I
like,
mean,
let's
by
say
that-
Either way,
by
it's
that
free in the
standard,
future.
That's
That is
something
true.
that you could worry about in any regard, not just the genie giving you money.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the best sort of loophole you can sort of, well, the best sort of idea, at least I could think of, in terms of that would be any inflation that would make the money worth its value, and also prohibit loopholes, is something where it's like, I don't know if you guys know what Publishers Clearinghouse is, but like every now and then they're like $5,000 a week for your entire life, and like Dwayne Brady was the spokesperson, or Steve Harvey was a while ago or something. I don't know. And it's basically like some weird lottery thing. I don't know. I've never done it, but like,
Yeah.
like the wish would be to win that. You get $5,000 a week, a life, but the wish is just to win it. You know, win it the correctly, legally. You know, legally win that thing, then you get it. You know, I don't want to win the lottery, because that's big. That means people are gonna be like, this man has money, steal his stuff, shoot his place. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a target, because some states require you to be to not be anonymous when you win the lottery. Some
Yeah.
are allow anonymity.
Yeah.
So
I'd only
like,
buy a lottery ticket to the anonymous ones, because nobody needs to know my money situation.
mhm, exactly. Or like maybe even every now and then, like maybe once every 3 months, when you buy a scratch ticket, you win the maximum amount on the ticket, but it cannot be over 500,000. Something like that.
So you're wanting like kind of a humble wish there, where
Yeah,
it goes
like
through the
yeah, I
legal
want
system.
money, but I don't want all the money, because I don't want to become desensitized.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not that I come from a poor family, but I don't come from a well-off family. I'm kind of in the middle. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, and that's okay. I'm happy with where I am, and I want to remain that way. I want to always be happy with where I am, because money isn't everything to me. Yeah, I want to have cool knickknacks and travel. I mostly want to travel and stuff, but I also want to treat people, make them feel special, whether it's my family or not. I want to be able to do things with my money, not for just myself. But I also want to just have it so that, I can have some fun every now and then, and also be able to afford college for my kids when I have them. I want to prepare for the future, essentially.
Mm-hmm. we really went the money route. Is there another, I'm glad that Beau put a lot of thought into it. I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it until Beau spoke up, and I was like, ooh, maybe I could just do a simple version.
Yeah, me too. So hats off to you, Beau, for, thinking about it.
Yeah.
For actually thinking about it in advance.
My brain works like a BioWare game. I think of dialogue options, and whenever someone says something to me, it's just like the good guy route, the bad guy route, the lawful route, and then the random left field route.
The romance route for the character.
It actually came from when I auditioned for the Aladdin show at Disneyland. They had asked, because they, lined everyone up doing the audition, and they want to see how you interact with people and whatnot. And so they'd ask, oh, if you had a genie, what would you wish for? And they never got to me because they, cast a girl that was further down the line, earlier on. And, I just never got the chance to even answer it. And so I was like, I've had this question in my mind for, 5 years. So.
Oh, wow. So it even goes that far back. That's incredible. So you would have said to them in that moment, so, okay, listen.
Mm-hmm. I would have said, I would have wished for exactly the amount of money I need whenever I need to make a purchase.
That is incredible.
Yep.
I wish they would have picked you. What role were you auditioning for?
Jasmine.
Just any?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's cutthroat, man. I don't feel bad about it. The fact that I even
Disney is
was there was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm actually curious, before you even get to the part where they line you up, how many things did you have to go through to even get to that part of it?
Honestly, getting into the auditions isn't necessarily the hard part. It's maintaining the casting director's attention long enough to continue to progress.
Because I'd heard there's very specific, height, weight, so many physical things that they're just very.
But this was actually
about.
For the stage show. This was for the Aladdin the musical spectacular. So this was the requirements for Jasmine were a little bit less intense than the meet and greet Jasmines.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's really cool. I've heard a lot about. Man, you probably have just a whole line of Disney stories that I'm very excited as we do more episodes to just sneak out of you.
I've got so many Disney stories. I've got 5.5 years of Disney stories.
We will eventually learn the corporate secrets of Disney. One day.
Nope.
Darn. Wait a minute, Beau, are you Walt Disney?
Maybe.
Disney, we're coming for you.
Maybe.
One day we're gonna buy Disney. Disney's not gonna buy us. We're gonna use our genie to own Disney. Oh my god!
No.
My wish is to win Disney lottery ticket.
Oh my god!
I want
Legally.
Disney World.
I want Disney World.
Disney World.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. Okay. So, Beau, why don't you go ahead and transition us to our beautiful, amazing, and wonderfully spectacular, beautiful KRWBY News Corner! Yay! It's KRWBY News Corner or something. We need a theme song.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to what I'm sure is your least favorite segment, the KRWBY News Corner. I am your host, Beauregard. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, what's up, guys? I've got actually some one interesting thing that I'm really excited about that one of our department leads actually reached out to me and was like, yo, I want you to mention this on Perpetually Ajar. But first and foremost, biggest, most exciting news, I would say, is production on the Halloween VR short has officially begun.
Yeah. Spooky.
Steven's like, wait, what? it. No.
No, I know.
Secret
I know.
stuff.
I'm in on it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we're really excited about that. We've had a lot of the modeling team working on some assets and some really cool stuff for that.
Ooh, what's it gonna be about?
Speaking of the modeling team, the thing that I was reached out to is our very own Sir Leshen reached out to me and wanted me to inform you guys that as of today, not the day that we're recording, but today, the day this episode is coming out, the White Fang Throne Room will officially be public in VR chat. So
What?
yeah, he's really excited for people to see that. He's been working on it for a hot minute. But yeah, he's been working on the White Fang Throne Room from Volume 5. And so, that can kind of maybe give you a little bit of hint of some of the other stuff that we've been working on behind the scenes. Really excited to see what else the modeling team kind of brings to the table with that, because they kind of were like, okay, we come to them with like a wish list as like a director, and then they come back and they're like, here are all of your toys to play with. So
it's like Christmas.
it's like Christmas
Except it's
morning,
Halloween
and no
right now.
one told me.
Christmas miracle.
Except it's September 22nd.
But yeah, so that was the really big thing. Leshen was like super excited. He was like, "Oh, make sure you mention this. I really want people to hear it." And then I told him, I was like, he thought that this was actually a live stream podcast because he's kind of been a little bit out of the loop. And I was like, "Oh no, we recorded actually beforehand." And he was like, "Oh, okay, then I'm not gonna put it public until the episode comes out, so that way it'll kind of drop with the episode."
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, look at us with our organized schedules.
Right. But other than that, again, don't forget to check out our public Discord server if you haven't already. We have a lot of fun there.
Cucks.
All of us are in that public Discord server. We go in, we hang out sometimes in the voice chats. We answer questions in our Ask the Crew or our suggestion box.
Yeah.
We just kind of, we hang out there. That's kind of like the equivalent to like our official forum. Instead of having like a forum website, we use the Discord server for like all of that interaction.
Yeah. It's just easier, honestly.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to manage and
Compared to, like,
whatnot.
a Reddit.
So if you haven't joined that already, you should check out the link down below in the description. There should be an invite link to be able to join our public KRWBY Productions Discord server. Moving on, don't forget that every other Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, we have our Perpetually Ajar episodes coming out.
Whoa!
So again, this is episode 4. We're super excited to have made it to episode 4. We've had some pretty awesome guests so far, and we've got some pretty awesome
maybe
things
more
lined
awesome
up.
guests in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not.
And
Just have to tune in to find out.
as always, if you haven't checked out our Patreon and you would like to support us in any way that you can, please, check that out. We post exclusive content there. We post, behind the scenes stuff, funny bloopers, all that jazz. And then on top of that, other than our podcast content, almost all of our content gets posted ahead of time by at least a day. We try to have it be a little bit longer than that. But all of our patrons on Patreon do get early access to most of our content before we post it on YouTube. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please, check out the link down below as well, because every bit of support counts, and all of the money that we make from that goes straight back into making sure that we're able to keep producing high quality content for you guys. So yeah.
Yes. Oh,
and,
also didn't Brian...
my audio
sorry.
is bugging out on Discord, but hopefully they can still hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it back along to you, Katie.
Oh, okay. But before we get back to moi, in the Discord, didn't Brian say that KRWBY Talks is going to be doing something a little bit different?
Yes.
Aren't they stopping Fire Force?
Yes. So that is something. We haven't completely decided everything else that's being covered yet. It's funny because that's one of the things that I was really kind of crunched for time for today, is that I'm going straight from this to doing the new discussion that we're having. We are officially canceling the Fire Force podcast. Unfortunately, all of us kind of unanimously decided that we just weren't enjoying the show enough to talk about it for an hour every week. And so, nothing to say bad about like the writers or about like the animation or anything like that. Like, it's a beautiful show. It's just kind of not really our cup of tea anymore. And so with that, between now and November 2nd, when RWBY comes out, we are going to be going to a bi-weekly basis. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And we're going to be covering anime movies, like a standalone movie. And this week, tonight, which is, it's the 22nd when we're recording this, we're going to be covering the Akira movie from the 80s.
Akira!
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I have very few words to say about this movie because I'm just genuinely kind of confused by it. But
that's fair.
The rest of them have yet to be announced as to what it is that we're going to be covering. I believe we're going to announce the next one on the episode. So by the time this comes out, if you guys want to hear us do a review and kind of a sit down and talk about the Akira movie or Akira or however you want to say it,
Akira.
go check it out.
How do you say it? It's not that.
Akira.
How do you say that?
But if you want to check out that review video, go check it out on the channel. It should be there by the time this comes out, hopefully.
Yay!
And then in a few weeks, the week before the 2nd of November, the week before RWBY Volume 7 premieres, we're going to be doing a special review episode where we kind of cover everything that's led up to where we are currently in the show. So, yeah.
Excellent.
And with that...
Well, that was a beautiful KRWBY News Corner. Thank you so much, Beau. Everyone clap for Beau. Clap for KRWBY News.
Clap.
Clap, clap. Yay!
I can't actually clap because one hand is holding the mic.
Oh, this is valid. This is very valid. Well, then we are going to jump right into the part where we tell everybody that we love them, and we are getting near the end of the episode. Where can they find you, Steve?
Wait, I have a question for you guys, actually.
Oh, what is it?
What is your favorite anime movie and why?
Ooh, our guest asking us a question?
I want to know.
Gosh.
I want to know.
love
What's your favorite movie? And I want the audience to put it in these comments too. What is your favorite anime movie? It could be anything. It could be Bakugan. It could be Pokemon. It could be an actual anime.
Goodness.
It is
what is it and why?
My favorite anime movie is Madoka Magica Rebellion, the third movie.
Ooh.
Yes.
That
Approved.
movie completely and thoroughly fucked my shit up, to put it lightly. Because Madoka Magica will do that to you. If you haven't watched the Madoka Magica series, the entire series is on Netflix. It's a really great show. It is deceivingly cute. So just be prepared for it to mess your feels up.
It will fuck you up,
But
man.
the Rebellion movie is absolutely my favorite anime movie that's out there.
Back in the day, my favorite anime movie was Naruto Bonds. But, I'm going to have to give a really real answer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball Z Abridged made a version of one of the movies where all the little aliens talk like Kermit the Frog, and they're all named after rappers. And that I've watched their version of that movie more than I've watched any anime movie that actually legitimately exists. So I have to say it's my favorite, but I can't even remember the name of it.
Oh my god.
I think it's I think it's Cooler. I think it's Cooler because he's like, hey, he talks like this. And he goes down and he meets all these fucking aliens, and they're all Kermit the Frog, but they're Tupac and 2 Chainz. I'm sorry, that's my favorite anime movie. I'm an abridger, okay? I'm sorry.
That's valid. It's valid.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think if I have like a legit one. Mm-hmm. Oh, Spirited Away. That's what it is.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I have that. That's like one of the only anime movies that I own on like DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have some anime on DVD, but in terms of like full-length film that I've watched a lot that I sincerely just get so many good vibes from, it's that one.
Yeet.
Nice.
Well, heck yeah. Thank you for asking that question. And yes, tell us down below.
Wait, you forgot me.
Oh, wait. I thought you just wanted to know our answers.
I do. No, I
Stu.
do.
Wow.
I did.
No, actually, yeah. Please tell us yours. Please tell us yours.
Yeah. I want to say my old one because my other one, my newest favorite is fairly recent. So to be fair, for the longest time, my favorite movie was the Pokemon movie Destiny Deoxys. because of the way they portrayed Deoxys. Like they always do a really good job of personifying the Pokemon as things that are sentient rather than just animals that you fight with. Like
Yeah.
Pokemon's always been very good at that. And that was a great movie to show the conflict of a god and another god, but it's not quite black and white that they're just gods fighting each other and that one wants destruction and one wants to destroy that destroyer. You know, like Rayquaza doesn't want to just destroy Deoxys because they're harmful to the world. You know, there's like Deoxys finds actual issues that he's trying to fix, sort of
Yeah.
deal. But my current favorite is A Silent Voice, which was made in 2016.
That one is good.
It hits you hard. It's to TLDR. It's basically about two people, a man and a woman, about high school aged, where they're living as adults now, kinda, and the dude used to bully this girl. She's deaf. She tried to do a lot. She was nothing but friendly in grade school, but this guy bullied her, and it's basically about him forgiving himself, but also about how coming to terms with the fact that people can forgive him, and him living with this anxiety inside of him, which is very, very apparent by the way they portray other characters around him with just X's over their faces because he feels like that they don't care about him, you know. So, and every time he makes an acquaintance, that X peels off, and I love that conflict of anxiety and dealing with this shit you've done in the past and correcting it, and also just because they're both wholesome people.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So yeah, that's it. That's my thing.
All right. Well, I really like that question, and I think we gave some fun answers. So without further ado, Steve, where can they find you? And do you have anything you would like to plug?
I like to plug Ruby Abridged because they're a bunch of weird
Whoa,
cucks,
I've
but
never
they're pretty
heard
cool.
of it.
Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
they're a bunch of really cool,
heard
weird
they're
geek
weebs.
cucks. Yeah, they're weeb shits, but like they're pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
they're okay, I
Well,
but
Heck yeah.
essentially the only few places you can find me, I guess. I'm not really a big person on social media or YouTube, but I do have Twitch. I do have a Twitter that I use every now and then. Twitch.tv/Silent Sonic, which is my Discord handle if you're not sure how to spell that. Just one word. No, I don't like Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. Yes, when I made it, I did. No, I do not anymore. And my Twitter is, I want to say, let me look at just to be sure. I had it up. I apologize for not having it up.
No, you're fine. We're going to also link it down below for anybody that wants to click.
Yes.
It is. I gotta log in. What the fuck? Log in, you cunt.
Wow.
How
Fudge.
dare.
That's a very
dare.
well.
That's a word.
That's a word.
And we're perpetually ajar.
Yeah, hold on, let me just look it up on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Because I have it on my phone logged in for sure. It is
Ba-da-ba.
at Steven_Collins7.
Ooh,
Because that is my name. Because I am a human.
Number 1 on Twitter.
you do exist.
This is my favorite number, and I am Steven
Hell
number
yeah.
1. If you look
Yes.
if you look in the KRWBY Productions Discord, I have a role that is quote a Steve as
A
a role,
Steve.
and every single Steve in the project has the role a Steve.
Oh my
Clippy
God.
also has it in our friendos.
Yes.
And Cole has one that says honorary Steve because he's Steven number 7 in our work Discord.
Aw, Cole.
He's an honorary Steve.
That's amazing. There's so many Steves.
Mhm,
Oh my
there's-
God.
He's number 7, but we only actually have 5. So there is no number 6. I mean, there will
What
never
the
be a number
fuck?
6. The next one that comes in
Too
will be
many
number 8.
Steves. Too many Steves.
No. Not enough. Not enough.
Never enough Steves. Well, all right. Thank you for sharing. Beau, where can they find you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at Beau from KRWBY, BeauFromKRWBY. And my biggest thing is I stream on Twitch. So if you want to check out any of my like gameplay videos of like Borderlands, 7 Days to Die, Apex Legends, all that jazz, check out my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/CB cosplay. That's me.
Heck yeah. And you can find me at KaniDay Official on Twitter and the gram of Insta. You can find me on Dr. Crafty on YouTube and KRWBY Productions and on this podcast right now. And also I would like to plug What's My Name on Instagram and SoundCloud made the beautiful music you hear at the beginning and end of every episode of Perpetually Ajar. And Lambency made the beautiful design that you see. And then ZD is our amazing animation person that made what you're looking at. It's kind of like our design is kind of all wibbly wobbly with fog going around it. He did that. He's really cool, and it's really awesome. And I
Check
think
these people out. They're all insane.
Yes, and
They're all
I
insane
will
and
probably
talented.
have their names listed in the description as well. If you would
Yeah.
maybe like to commission them, or if
Wink.
you want to start a podcast and you need some art and like you need an
Wink.
animation. I also had him help me with my Weird Flex But Okay podcast that me and Jordan Jacksblade Downs do together every other week as well. And yeah, I think that is a wrap. Quickly, someone say something funny.
What's the deal with Iron Daddy?
What is the deal with Iron Daddy?
Is he actually a
I need to
father?
know. Whoa! I get it. My crippling daddy issues.
Yeah, you're right.
See you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you guys later.